morning one and all. Myself Bhavani from Civil Department. Today we are going to discuss on the topic of definition and terminology in emerging approaches of in disaster management. Here we will be having so many approaches that will be emerging because of this disaster management. What is meant by emerging approaches of disaster management is it is the continuous process that involves the various stages to minimize the impact of this disaster. That is called as the approaches towards this disaster management. It will ensure the effective response and facilitating recovery and also the rehabilitation. And in these approaches, we will be seeing different stages like pre-disaster stage, emergency stage, and also the post-disaster stage here. Mainly, what is the definition of this pre-disaster stage, that is preparedness, means it refers to the all activities undertaking before any disaster is happen. Means before occurring of the disaster, what we can do, means what is the preparedness we can be done before this disaster can be occurred. Means why this is a pre-disaster stage, what it will do means with the main objective of this reducing the risk and potential impact of this disaster. This will be very much known for this preparedness phase. Mainly it will involve the planning, training, and also it can implement the preventive measures when these disasters are happening or before happening of these disasters only. These preventive measures, what we can do means what are the precautions we can take to mitigate this type of disaster, or when this disaster is happening, how we have to prepare and how we can save ourselves from this one. And mainly here, what are the key points or key activities we can see in this preparedness phase means risk assessment and also hazard mapping we can done. Means we can just assess this risk, and hazard mapping we can done means we can be very much prepared towards the disaster prone areas. Early warning system we can give so that people can evacuate their places and go towards some safe zone. And next one is public awareness and education. Means already we know that some parts of our country or world, there will be disaster prone areas. Means when we know that, means automatically public awareness can be done among the people, and we have to educate the people so that when any type of disaster is happening, means they will know about the disaster and how much at how much intensity and magnitude it can occur, and how they can save themselves by taking some precautions at that time, like that. And next one is capacity building and training. Means we have to train the people, or we have to train some communities by escape from these disasters. And next is development of emergency plans. We have to develop the emergency plans, and by developing these emergency plans, when this disaster happen, we can be easily come out from this disaster. Next one is strengthening infrastructure. Means if this disaster is going to be happen, means before that only we have to just we have to remember one point, that if any type of disaster is happening, means our overall buildings have to be strong enough to sustain that type of disaster. So likewise, we have to build that type of infrastructure only. Means we have to strengthen our infrastructure by following the building codes, like that one. Okay. Next one is stockpiling the resources. Here, stockpiling the resources means if one disaster is going to be happen, definitely means we know that thing, means we have to stock the resources, like whether it may be food items, or whether it may be medical kits, and also whether it may be emergency shelters or emergency rescuing. Means these are all the resources we have to stockpile before this disaster can be happening. Next one is what is the main objective of this pre-disaster stage. And here main objective of this one is to minimize the vulnerability of the communities and to reduce the potential damage and also loss of life when these disasters can be happened. Means by doing this preparedness stage, we can be reduce the damage and also loss of life from these disasters. And coming to the next stage, that is emergency stage. This emergency stage is refers to the immediate response activities that can be carried out during and immediately after the disaster occurs. Means any disaster that is happening or happened means immediate means emergency stage. In this stage we will be very much active and we will be going to save the lives and we have to protect the properties, and also we have to build the relief, provide a relief towards the affected populations at that time. That is called as the emergency stage. And next one is key activities of this emergency phase is activation of this emergency plans. Means if the disaster is going to be happen without any doubt, means emergency plans are going to be done by the government at that time. Means immediately after occurring or during occurring of this disaster, we have to activate that emergency plans, and we have to just search and rescue operations can be started. Why? Because when these disasters happen means so many buildings can be collapsed at that time, so many houses, overall infrastructure can be damaged at that time. So search and rescue operations can be done immediately so that so many people can save at that time. Means some people they may be under the that buildings. Means when we are going to save them means they can be live at that time. Okay. And provision of emergency medical care means immediate medical care can be we have to done at that time. And next one is establishing temporary shelters. We have to provide the temporary shelters for the affected people who lose their houses at that time. And next one is disaster communication. Means immediately we have to communicate with the people. Means we have to communicate with the forces and also the government officers. Means to get the help from them, and also by means immediate by doing this means if many people will be there means immediate very fast action can be taken at the time of this disaster or after the time of this disaster. And logistics and supply chain system means if any normal normal dial like providing the food or providing the shelter or supplying the medical kits, likewise that overall chain system should be managed very well at that time. Okay, so if we managed at that time means so many lives we can save, and so many people they can't lose their lives because of their negligence. So we have to be active so that people can't go through very means at this very emergency time. And next one is security and law enforcement. Means security should be provided. Why? Because so many people when this disaster happening means theft can be done. Means some people they may rob their belongings of the people or some other people. So security and law enforcement have to be active at the time of this emergency phase. Main objective of this emergency stage is to provide them immediate relief and to prevent them further loss of whether it may be life or whether it may be property damage. It may be focuses on the responding towards the needs of affected people quickly and efficiently. Means we have to means various communities and government services have to be active at that time. Means by providing them with normal facilities and to give immediate relief to them at that time. And next one is post-disaster stage. That is nothing but rehabilitation. Means after completion of this disaster, means what action we can take after some time of this disaster completion. And in this one, this involve the long-term recovery and rehabilitation efforts. Mainly, this will aimed at the restoring normalcy. Means we have to normalize the people of the affected population, and we have to rebuild the infrastructure, and also we have to improve the resilience for the future disasters. So previous data means we know how these disasters are going to be happen, how much it can be affected. So we have to provide the resilience for the future disaster. That is called as the recovery stage or rehabilitation stage. Various key activities of this post-disaster phase is damage and needs assessment. Means we have to just assess the overall how much damage this disaster is done by the because of the disaster, how much damage we faced and what are the needs we want at that time after the disaster. And next one is restoration of the essential services. Means a drinking water facility or sanitation for the sanitation facilities and communication facilities. We have to restore everything, and we have to provide the means government have to provide them a very necessary sources toward them, supplying the foods for specific time, and also we have to supply the medical facilities towards them and essential services like we have to rebuild their houses and we have to provide them with necessary facilities. By doing this one, that can be easy for the affected people to come out of the disaster trauma. Okay. And next one is reconstruction and rehabilitation. We have to reconstruct that buildings and also their houses to recover themselves from that disaster. Next one is economic recovery. We have to recover the economy during the disaster is happened. So much economic can be lost. Means some crores we can be lost when these disasters are happen. Means we have to recover that economic losses also. Next, psychosocial support we have to support. Means some people may be facing a trauma because they lose their family or they lose their some of the important people or properties also. For them we have to give support and we have to get that people from that trauma, like that one we can do. And next one is environmental rehabilitation. Means we have to rehabilitate this environment also, so that we have to get towards our daily life, towards our environmental conditions. Next one is community involvement and empowerment. Means we have to empower and we have to involve so many communities to fasten our work after this disaster happened. Why? Because if we want to restore the or reconstruct everything to towards the previous life, means we have to involve so many people or we have to involve the so many communities. And next one is review and learning. Means here we have to review the disasters occurred at that time. We have to learn from that disaster. Means again and again we can't face the same problem, so we have to learn from the disaster. Means what we can eradicate next time and what we can mitigate at that next time. So from this review and learning we can save some people at that time. Main objective of this post disaster stage is to restore the normalcy and also strengthen the resilience of these communities for the future disaster. And also we have to reconstruct or rebuild the affected areas. Means it will be aims to ensure the sustainable recovery and that improves the quality of the life for affected people. Immediately or after some time also we have to give the quality of life for the affected people, and we by giving some money also we can save themselves from that disaster trauma also. Next one is what is the primary objective of this NDMA? What is meant by this NDMA is National Disaster Management Organization. And here in this one, what association? Here what they will do means firstly this NDMA is started in the year 2005 and its chairperson is Prime Minister, and he will know all about the national occurring disasters. Means these organization they will do the disaster management. Means they will just coordinate and oversee the disaster effects across our India to ensure the safety of the people. Means to ensuring effective prevention, mitigation and response towards that disaster. Means how government have to respond towards the disaster, how they are going to save the people from this disaster. We can see all of this in this NDMA. And in this one, how many members are there in NDMA include their chairperson. Here, including the chairperson, NDMA consists of 9 members here. Here, chairperson will be a prime minister. Means from that prime minister, he is the head of this NDMA. Means he will get to know all about this disaster happening in our India and what are the response we have to give towards the affected people from these disasters. Next one is, what is the main role of this NDMA in disaster management? Means what this NDMA people they will do means its role is to formulate the policies, plans and guidelines for the disaster management and to coordinate with the various stakeholders to ensure that effective disaster preparedness and response and recovery can be done towards the affected people from this disaster. These disasters can be man-induced or natural disasters also. Okay, these NDMA people have to be active when any type of disaster happen in our nation immediately. And next one is how does this NDMA it will coordinate with the state level disaster management authorities. Means this NDMA it will coordinate with the SDMS. SDMS is nothing but the state level authorities, nothing but state disaster management authorities, and it will provide this NDMA when it will collab with this and SDMA means it will provide the guidelines, resources and support for the disaster management at the state level. Means the state level people they will get the funds from this NDMA people also. Why? Because when this affected population we have to give some amount for them to get themselves out from that disaster means some people they may lose their homes and some people they may lose their properties also. Means for the basic needs of that affected people, government have to give the funds towards that affected people. These funds will be given by the state level, and from the state level they will be getting amount from the NDMA, that is national level. No, from that national level they will give amount towards the state level. And next one is, how does this NDMA contribute towards the disaster response and also the recovery? And here NDMA it will contribute towards the disaster response and recovery by coordinating the relief operations. Means like what they will do means they will just deploy the sources like NDRF. NDRF is nothing but National Disaster Response Force. What this NDRF will do means it will facilitate the rehabilitation and reconstruction efforts immediately after getting the order from this NDMA people. And here one of the main thing is, by getting the order from this NDMA people, they will just facilitate the overall reconstruction and the rehabilitation of that affected area. And next question, that is mention one recent disaster where the NDMA played a significant role is relief operation. Means mainly we can take the example of coronavirus means COVID-19 pandemic, and at the time of this COVID pandemic NDMA people they come forward. Means their main purpose is that one. Why? Because they have to be active when these disasters are going to be happen. Means this NDMA it played the significant role for the relief operations in COVID-19 pandemic. Means these will coordinating the efforts across the country for the healthcare, lockdown management and supply chain logistics. Means they have to supply the food, medical facilities for the people who are going through this COVID pandemic, and lockdown management is very much active at the time of this COVID pandemic. Okay, so at the time of this COVID pandemics, NDMA played very significant role towards the relief operations at the time of that pandemic. Next one is, what is the difference between NDMA and SDMA? Means Overall, NDMA will operate at the national level and provides the overall guidance for the disaster management across our nation. But SDMA, it will functions at the state level only. Mainly, it will only focuses on the disaster management within that state. Means we can take example of AP. Means Andhra Pradesh, we can take the example. Means the state level people only they will just concentrate on this Andhra Pradesh only, not all another states. This NDMA will concentrate on overall nation, overall states which are present in our India. And these SDMA people, they have to implement the guidelines that is provided by these NDMA people only. Okay. And these are the references books. Okay. Thank you everyone.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.